Can't get mad at our punctuality today. 4 o'clock, right on the dot. We're back with you on a We Learned Wednesday edition of the B Team. Presented by Southwood Valley Animal Hospital. They aim to provide superior veterinary care at affordable prices. Try their best design treatment plans with owners' budgets in mind. You can visit them on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as on their website, southwoodvalleyvet.com. You can schedule appointments on the website as well as call at 979-693-9898. We appreciate their sponsorship of the best drive home show on planet Earth and
the moon.
The moon. It's a bit that
Where
I
else
stolen.
would you like to expand our reach within our solar system? Or would you like to eventually one day get out of our solar system and kind of into other parts of the Milky Way galaxy?
Well, that depends on whether you believe that there are other people out there that would like to listen to us, that
Who's on
other
the
beings
moon? Who's on
outside
the moon?
of the living creatures on the planet.
Who's on the moon?
Well, we can get telecasts up to the moon. Do you not remember Neil Armstrong, or do you think that was also a big hoax?
No, I think that was real.
It could be a big hoax. It could have been a giant April Fool's prank. How about that?
How about that?
Happy April Fool's Day. We had a bit that happened today in the office. I don't know if Richard wants to explain that, but I'll say this. In terms of myself and April Fool's Day, you can get me, but you got to get me early in the day. Before I remember, oh, this is the stupidest date on the calendar, somebody is going to try to pull a prank on me. I usually get tipped off by seeing somebody else get pranked. And today in the office, y'all's bit with Callie Gardner was...
Well,
that reminded me that this is the stupidest day of the year.
Yeah, it is. And this morning, I did see something out there. It might have been Peter Burns tweeting it. Basically, it's April Fool's Day. Y'all keep y'all's head on a swivel. So there's a lot of people falling for stupid stuff, like the fact that A&M basketball would hang a tied for fourth banner at Reed Arena. I don't know if anybody
or that Aggie volleyball was going to welcome back all their seniors.
Hook, line, sinker. But this morning, so I saw that, and this morning when I got here, Nick Savage is sitting in the producer chair, as he does every morning for TexAgs Live. That's his day job. And he's working on a recruiting graphic. And I text Nick every now and then. I'm like, hey, Nick, how's it going? He's like kind of perturbed. He's very quiet, doesn't want to talk. And I'm like, hey, man, you okay? He goes, just annoyed, just kind of a little pissed off, honestly. I'm like, why? He's like, recruiting team has decided they want stars included on all of the committed graphics. And I'm like, that really doesn't make sense because our star graphics don't match up and they fluctuate quite a bit, right? And so I was like, that just doesn't make sense. And I'm like, do you want me to go to bat for y'all? And like I'm starting to get frustrated right there with Nick. And then he has this wry smile on his face. He goes, I'm just kidding. They didn't want to do this. But Kay and Nick got me good. And that's when Nick goes, how are we going to get Callie?
Well, let's just call it what it is. Of all the people in this office, Callie Gardner, who we adore, she is the easiest, most gullible person, so easiest to prank in the office. In case you missed it, there was a 2 to 3 month long running bit where her roommates, Kay Nagley and Kaylee Dreyer, stole her Apple Watch, or would temporarily steal her Apple Watch and use it to play music from her phone. She thought her phone was possessed. This went on for the better part of 3 months. Everybody in the TexAgs offices was aware of this bit. They would play songs like a baseball guy would come in and do an interview. And then when he would walk out, they would play that player's walk-up song on her iPhone through her Apple Watch. It was so obvious that somebody was messing with her. She could never put the pieces together and figure out this was just a big prank.
The best part about that entire prank was when Callie got it in her brain that she was going to look for her Apple Watch at home one day. So Kay planted it.
So she could
let her find it, and then later that night, re-stole the Apple Watch.
So that was the shortened version. There were 100 of examples where it would have been like to any person with awareness beyond what was happening
she
right
would
in front
talk
of
about
her.
a song, and then the song would start playing. Yeah.
They would talk about a song. David would talk about Daddy Yankee or Bad Bunny on TexAgs Live, and they would immediately play a song by that artist. It happened 100 times, and she could never clock that she was being pranked. So Callie has made easy fodder, and she knows that. Yet this morning when she walked into the office,
it was
target number one.
It was before she even walked into the office. And on Sunday of this past weekend, Billy he kind of moved the goalpost on us. And I say that pun intended, right? He switched up what he wanted from us when we're covering certain events. And Callie and I have been working through it together. Anyways, Callie goes out and covers said event on Tuesday. So Kay and I put our heads together, and I changed Kay's number to say Billy Lucci in my phone. So I'm texting myself back and forth for about 10 minutes. And we're putting together a great conversation with examples of what he might not like. And I've written it in such a way, because I spend so much time with the man, that I know the exact right verbiage he would use to upset me. So then I could take screenshots of our text conversation and send it to Callie and basically be like, I don't know what to do. Like, what are we doing? Because everything we're talking about falls under social media, which is Callie's purview. And this is about 8:50 in the morning. I haven't seen her yet. She's still at home. And she gets so livid. She sits there and like breaks out her calculator and starts running the numbers on interactions and why we're actually winning and why we're doing what we need to be doing. She's pissed. She gets here and she's like, I don't even know what to do. Like, I think I'm just going to quit my job. I'm just going to quit my job. And then we got Billy. I told Billy was in on it. So he walked in and he's like kind of side-eyeing her. It's like, Callie, I don't even know what to tell you. I don't even know what to tell you. And then he comes back in, he brings Kay in, he goes, Can you guys just go ahead and tell her? And we're like, Callie, we're messing with you. And she jumps out of her chair and she's laughing. And then he decided he tried to move the goalpost yet again. There's that phrase. He tried to like bring me down and say that I was about to make her cry and that I was taking it too far. And I'm like, Billy, I heard you try to set this whole plan up. Callie was she was having fun earlier.
April Fool's Day does hit different nowadays, especially with the older generation having access to the internet and the rise of AI. I have seen a lot of people, and there's some on the TexAgs message boards right now, that have gotten bit by AI planting April Fool's jokes on their timelines, with sensational news. My dad he's key target number one for these things. He sends me so many Facebook articles about Texas A&M. One was that Mike Elko was going to parachute into the spring game. And like, Dad, surely you don't believe this. But it's all from like AI generated stories on Facebook. So this has been a tougher holiday for some folks to navigate with the rise of AI. It's made it a little bit more volatile.
The boomers are struggling for sure.
Yeah, you can get got real quickly. One of my favorite April Fool's pranks that I've ever seen. Do y'all remember? You won't remember, but you may have seen the video footage because it's older than y'all are. Do you remember the longtime Astro Derek Bell, outfielder?
No.
Derek Bell was part of the Killer Bees. He was playing with the Toronto Blue Jays, and on April 1st, they did a stadium-wide prank that they had raffled off his brand new Jeep. They drove it. Joe Carter, Hall of Famer for the Blue Jays, drove it through the center field fence. They opened the center field wall. He drives his Jeep onto the field. Remember, it's that old AstroTurf. Drives it onto the field, and they've got a camera just fixated on Derek Bell. They made up a fake raffle with a winner. Congratulations to the fans sitting in section 123, row 27, seat 1. You are now the owner of Derek Bell's brand new Jeep. It was great. It was great. I like that type of stuff.
That's hilarious.
That's really good. He had Joe Carter driving around the field in circles in his brand new Jeep. So hopefully you are a little bit more savvy.
My 90-year-old grandfather recently got hacked on Facebook. Literally earlier this week. And 4 or 5 times he's posted this link to some tragic news story of essentially somebody passing away in a car accident. It's not a real news story. You click the link and your account gets hacked, essentially. And he's tagged 10 people at a time. So like my mom, my father got tagged in one of them. So my mom's had to field a couple phone calls about what happened to Brad.
I feel bad for poor R.C. Slocum.
Yes.
Every week he's got to come out and shoot down rumors of these AI generated stories. My dad has sent me a couple of those. Or he'll text me, he's like, man, is everything okay with Coach Slocum?
Maya Perez has felt the need to acknowledge something on her social media.
It's crazy, man.
It's insane.
It's crazy. But I do think we're going to get to a point where everybody will be more aware. It's a new fad, right? AI generating these stories or whatever. And I think on some level, I don't know if the software engineers for these AI bots, do they get money off of interaction, generating satiable headline? And I don't know, why are they popular? Like, why do they keep popping up? There has to be, to me, some sort of monetary gain for somebody with this.
I think the monetary gain's pretty obvious, Brauny. Like, if you can, these bots, if they can hack your information, chances are your password's going to be linked. You're going to use the same password somewhere else. They can get something.
Yeah, and then everybody's
credit card info, all sorts of fraud. Oh yeah.
Maybe I should start looking. Well, I don't even want to talk about it.
Be careful.
Yep. Don't even want to talk about it. Not even going to open that door. Cade Bickham made an appearance. He's producing the show today.
123.
Cade, do you have a all-time favorite April Fool's Day or just any general day prank?
I honestly, I really don't. I can't. It hasn't like been a very prevalent thing. I guess I've gotten fooled like sometimes, but like I guess the first thing I saw this morning when I opened my Twitter was the Aggie football post about they're going to add another deck to Kyle Field. And that almost got me for a second because I was like, they would, that's not out of the realm of possibility that they would actually do that.
Did you look at the photo for half a second, Kate?
I read it first. I didn't look at the photo first. I read what it said first. I didn't look at and then I looked at the photo and then it looked terrible. But
did you grow up in an era of hazing, Cade? Was that something that was prevalent in your childhood growing up?
That's an interesting question. I guess it's probably not like as prevalent as it would have been in your generation.
Yeah, I'm not trying to compare. I'm just asking.
But like, I guess, yeah.
Because there were some things that, like when I was in high school, they viewed it as pranks, but it was actually like hazing. For whatever, like the sophomores, we have a big festival in Nederland every year. It's called the Heritage Festival, Dutch Heritage, whatever. It's a week long during spring break, and I don't even know if they still do it, but for a long time, the sophomores in high school would find the eighth graders at the Heritage Festival, and then they would like wrestle you to the ground, haul you off, throw you in the back of a truck, and take you somewhere and shave your head or give you like an awful haircut. And then they thought it was funny to like slap the back of your head and make it whelp and all, whatever, like too far. But like to me, that was hazing, not a prank. We also had, I guess statute of limitations is passed on this stuff. It's a long time ago, 20 years now. But when I was a freshman, the baseball, if you're a freshman athlete, you got changed in the same locker room. So it was football, baseball, basketball. You had one locker room. And there was a group of us that were freshman baseball players that made the varsity that the varsity guys liked. And they told us, if we come into the freshman locker room and turn the lights out, you need to get in your locker or at least use your locker door as a shield. You're like, what happens? Well, they go in there and they turn the lights off and they start throwing baseballs.
Jeez.
Was not safe.
No, that's really not safe.
That's not a prank.
That's assault. Yeah. That's assault.
But it was a little exhilarating, and it helped that we were tipped off. I was glad that I was part of the group that got tipped off that if this happens, just open your locker door and stand by. It kind of felt like you were in like 300.
That's
the narrow gates.
That's scary. Around the office, I got Luke really good a few years ago. This would have been when he was still an intern. And do you remember the podcast From the East Side? him and Kay were doing for a little bit.
Yeah.
And Jamie and Beasley were producing it and helping with that. And Kenny Cavan was doing it too. Luke was in a men's org during his undergraduate days that put on the Watermelon Festival or Watermelon Fest or whatever. Remember that?
Yeah.
And one of the bits is they made every member carry a bowling ball sized watermelon around for an entire week to help promote it. So, why are you carrying that watermelon? Oh, well, I'm in this. Our event is this. Yeah, that's how word spread via word of mouth, right? Anyways, we literally choreographed how we were going to steal his watermelon and throw it off the balcony of the second floor of TexAgs. But we went and bought like a second watermelon so that the one he had actually gotten attached to, he had given it a name and a backstory and had grown to love Walter Mellon Jr. We didn't throw Luke's watermelon off because he had studied it. He knew where all the markings on it were. It was weird. Anyways, he was
heartbroken.
We got him so good. I'll have to find the episode and send it to you, Cade. The look of heartbreak on his face,
I do remember,
is priceless.
He was very sad.
He was in shambles.
But there's been some folks that would have liked to have had an April Fool's Day as an excuse for some poor performances recently. That's a very, very poor segue into, I wanted to talk about CB Buckner. And I was trying to make the tie between April Fool's pranks and what has happened for CB Buckner over the last couple of days. If you are unaware, CB Buckner is a longtime Major League umpire. He is a longtime unpopular MLB umpire and was one of the guys, since Angel Hernandez has moved on and Joe West have moved on, CB Buckner didn't become, not public enemy number one, but he became the poster child for what is ABS about to do to umpires and who is it going to affect the most, because he has now a long history, a checkered history of being really, really inconsistent with his strike zone, and then has also become one of the more confrontational umpires in the league. So it has been a really tough opening week for CB Buckner.
Got tougher today.
It got tougher today or yesterday?
Today.
What did I miss today?
The Rays and the Brewers played a day game today. CB Buckner took a foul ball off his face mask and left the game.
Well, I don't wish
that's crazy.
I don't wish any harm on him, but yeah, that's quite an end to a very tumultuous week for the longtime umpire. This is an article I'm reading from Yahoo Sports. The author is Jack Bayer. It starts with, even CB Buckner's biggest detractors probably didn't see this week going so badly for him. Buckner has been long one of the more unpopular umpires in Major League Baseball, and the advent of the ABS challenge system was bound to hit him harder than most, if not all other umpires. That bore out on Saturday when thousands of Cincinnati Reds fans cheered as he had back-to-back strike three calls overturned. This was an at-bat in a tight game against the Detroit Tigers. The hitter was Eugenio Suarez, who strikes out a ton.
Yes.
He hits a bunch of homers, but he strikes out a ton. CB Buckner rang him up on back-to-back pitches and immediately got challenged by Suarez, and neither one of these pitches were close. Like they were, I say they weren't close. All of these pitches are typically very close, but in terms of like being right in that buffer zone, neither one were. And so it was like the loudest crowd pop of the game whenever Buckner got overruled. So that became a talking point in and of itself. It brought on a bigger discussion about what are umpires going to be in 5 years, in 10 years. I struggle with what would you do without a home plate umpire, or the necessity for a home plate umpire calling balls and strikes. You're going to need an umpire at the plate for plays at the plate. What happens? Like, do they stand off to the side behind the hitter? What do they do if we're not ever, like, if it gets to a point where we are electronically producing a strike zone and results off of this
Well,
this
do you
strike
watch?
zone.
You watch the home run derby, right? There's an umpire near home plate.
And that's ridiculous. Like,
Why do we need
is
an
he even
umpire
there
at the home
to
run
tell the
derby?
BP guy not to throw it so soon? But you get what I'm saying, right? But you have to have an umpire at the plate for plays at the plate. Where is he housed if he is not going to be calling balls and strikes? That's interesting to me. I think you could probably put him in like you just have a little box behind the hitter that he could stand in, so he's not in the way or in danger of getting hit by a foul ball, or maybe even a thrown bat or a broken bat. But this conversation has arisen because of and been highlighted by this incident with CB Buckner. Now, it gets actually worse from there for Buckner, who in the 6th inning of a game between the Rays and the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday, 2 days ago, it was Sunday. I can't remember. Monday. In the 6th inning of a game Monday between the Rays and the Brewers in Milwaukee, Brewers first baseman Jake Bauers reached first on a play that saw Rays second baseman Ben Williamson miss a throw. Buckner's ruling, so he misfired on a throw. It was a routine ground ball. It was actually to Williamson's right, left. He airmails the throw to first. It goes back toward the catcher. The Rays throw the ball back to first base. They step on the bag. Buckner calls Bauers out, saying he missed first base. Replay shows unequivocally, clearly, that Bauer steps on the center of the base. It is a clear admission that CB Buckner was not even watching. It is the most indisputable video evidence
That's crazy.
that any sport has ever produced in a replay situation. And that was, again, on the heels of what happened in Cincinnati. So this whole thing, and I kind of just searched YouTube today when I was putting together the show rundown. I just searched YouTube for CB Buckner reaction. All of the biggest baseball podcasts have long breakdowns over this. So if you are interested in hearing more about this and the opinions of the talking heads that produce a lot of Major League Baseball content, John Boy, the MLB TV crew has a piece up on it. I think AJ Pierzynski has his own piece up on it. There are a lot of people that have used this this poor stretch of umpiring by CB Buckner to bring on a bigger discussion. But they're talking about, like, I saw something with Joe West, who was a long time
Cowboy
umpire.
Joe.
And again, very controversial umpire throughout his tenure. He was talking about like the sheer embarrassment that you would feel by missing a call like this and what it could do to you socially. And now, like, we know, like, home plate umpires, they have these games, and I know that we have the social media umpire trackers and they grade these umpires, but when you walk around the street, nobody really knows. Like, but this could lead to a lot more ridicule and criticism over something that, be quite honest, let's call it what it is. Calling balls and strikes is the most difficult thing to officiate in sports.
It's hard. It's not easy. I did it for a little bit in high school. Not fun. And
now these guys are throwing the baseballs, they're throwing them harder than we ever have. They expect the strike zone to be maintained within the parameters as outlined by the rule book whenever those pitches are getting to the plate quicker than we've ever seen them. They're spinning more. They're moving more. Catchers are getting a lot better at presenting strikes. So it is, like, especially at that level, it's a thankless job, and it's only gotten more thankless now that we have put this automated strike zone together. I can see why this is going to hit the pride of a lot of umpires really hard. Really, really hard. Now, if you say they should have no ego, I understand that. They have a safety net, I understand that. But whenever they walk out of the ballpark and stuff like what happened with CB Buckner follows them around for a long time, it's going to have some wear and tear on that individual and also the profession. You remember Jim Joyce?
Jim Joyce. Jim Joyce is one of the greatest umpires of all time, but he's going to be remembered for
ruining a perfect game.
Ruining a perfect game. Armando Galarraga's perfect game. 26 outs. The 27th should have been an out. He called the guy safe erroneously and even admitted it. Has admitted it. He has apologized. Actually has a great relationship with Galarraga now. But that's going to follow him around for the rest of his life.
There was a clip of the two managers of the Rays and the Brewers, Kevin Cashman and Pat Murphy. They were looking at each other across the way during this replay. Whenever, it went to replay the play at first base, and they're just dying laughing at each other. They can't believe that he missed something so egregious. But I at one point in my life when I got done playing, I was like, man, being a major league umpire would be pretty sick. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of man hours, and it is thankless. Like you are one of the enemies every time you walk into the ballpark.
One of the first things that was said to me when I started umpiring, I was in high school. Said that already. The head of our little association said to all the kids doing it for their first time, you will never win a game, but you will lose all of them.
Yep.
And it's true that in the United States right now, we have an official shortage because people don't want to do it.
Go to a
high school. Yeah.
Go to youth baseball tournaments, and they get these
sport.
Umpires get wore out, and those guys are out there for a lot of them. They alternate between the plate and the field.
Yeah,
per field. So you go to these sportsplexes, these
You're there
complexes,
all day.
And so they have 2 umpires per field, and they stay on that field all day. They'll probably rotate between the plate and the field every 2 games. When you start getting into May and June and July, it's 115 degrees on some of the turf. And they don't really want to hear it from parents who don't know anything about the game. And like, I went into there, I would go into those weekends just, hey, don't have any expectations for the umpires. And the only time that I have in my entire career with 12, I've coached over 1,000 games. I think I've been ejected less than 5 times. And every time that I've been ejected, I had an issue with just the intent of the umpire, not the ball strike, safe out. I don't have an issue with the calls. You have to understand that even though you've been out there a long time, the outcomes of these games, especially as the kids get to be like 12, 13, and 14, the outcomes matter to these kids. And where they don't matter in terms of their baseball career, but that matters in their moment and their development. Like we preach like play the game to win and playing it hard and all this kind of stuff. And then if you get an umpiring crew that just doesn't care, like their give a crap meter is non-existent, that's where I have my problem. But if you are engaged and you bring in good energy to the field and you're bad, that's fine. I've actually told an umpire, he didn't really like this. I said, look, man, I think you're giving your best effort. I think that you are engaged. I think you're trying. I just think you're bad at this. I didn't get tossed for that.
It's pretty impressive.
But that was my whole deal. It's like, I'm not going to argue stuff in a select baseball tournament that's bang, bang. If it's bang, bang, it's a coin flip. If my side doesn't come up, I'll deal with it. If it's egregious, like really, really bad, I'll say something. But bang, bang stuff, these guys they're living a thankless life out there, and they're getting paid per game. So they don't get paid per hour, they get paid per game. And so if I think that has come into their decision making, like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm done when this game's over, so I can speed it up because I am the arbiter of this game. I don't like that either.
Strikes and outs. We're here to call strikes and outs.
But just like don't mess with the integrity of the game.
Sure.
And understand that the outcomes matter to the kids. And I'm fine with every youth umpire.
I would have thrown you out.
They're going to be bad. Like they're not going to be great, and I'm fine with that.
I would have run you.
Actually, what's funny is I've seen this guy at a couple of A&M games in the midweek in the field, but he is behind the plate now, I believe, in the Big 12. He's a local guy. I don't want to say his name, but he's a local umpire that started doing it after his playing career, and I was probably in year 4 or 5 with 12, so this would have been 2014, 2015. He started umpiring our games in Franklin, 13, 14-year-old games, and he was good. He was engaged with the kids. He understood tempo, very demonstrative, like fair foul, all that kind of stuff that can kind of fall by the wayside whenever you're doing 5 games a day, 2 days a week, 16 weeks in a row. he was always engaged, really tight strike zone, would tell the catchers, hey man, like you're moving too much. Like I'm not going to be fooled by that frame because you're moving too much. Don't move it as much if you want the call. He was great. Now he's worked his way up to Big 12 on the field umpire. Really
Impressive.
cool.
That
really
is cool. In the chat, Cooper Patterson says, intramural refs suck, and I let them hear it. They screwed me over 2 nights in a row.
This is a guy, listen, Cooper Patterson runs a burner account. Like
just go put shots up on the Papa Shot machine,
like,
dude.
I
don't know what to tell you.
Don't be running burner accounts and be like, yeah, I'll pop off to officials at intramural games.
Yeah, like we could tell. We know. That's your disposition. Like there's a reason none of us like you.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Coop
April Fools.
Coop knows I love him.
April Fools.
Anyways, sticking with umpires. Okay. Did you see what happened last night in your Astro game?
I did not because I was at Bluebell.
Home plate umpire.
Oh, yeah.
March Wegner.
Yeah, strike 4.
No. Ball 3. So Cam Smith is up. That's
right.
He swings and misses. At the first pitch, the second pitch, and the third pitch. Somehow, it is a 1-2 count.
That's on everybody.
Everybody in the ballpark forgot.
It's not on the Astros.
Everybody in the ballpark forgot because Cam Smith ended up walking a few pitches later. It was only the third ball of the at bat.
So yeah, he had
to issue an apology.
He got strike 3 and then walked on ball 3.
Yes. He swung through the first 3 pitches of the at bat.
Smith. I mean, you should know the count, but it's really not on him. It's
Nobody
on the umpire.
Knew the
It's
account.
on the Red Sox. How is Alex Cora not just?
If they're going to give me extra pitches to swing it, I'm going to take them.
How does your catcher not know?
Yeah,
How does your catcher
crazy.
Not know?
Especially that it happened 3 pitches in a row. Like it was strike 1, 2, 3. It's not like you had a bunch of foul balls in between and mixed in a ball or two, where you can lose count. You can lose track of the count. This was boom, boom, boom.
Are the Red Sox going to be the worst team in that division?
Tampa Bay will probably end up being pretty bad.
I think the Red Sox will be okay. They got good pieces. I don't think they're the best team in the division at all, but I don't think they're the worst. The Orioles got to get their crap together because their roster should be good.
Their roster should be good. The real issue was their pitching last year, was it not?
I'd have to go back and look. You look at their lineup and there's enough in there for them to be competitive in that division. You know what division stinks? You know what division really stinks? That everybody's kind of like, this is the division is done already, is the NL West.
Yeah. Everybody's playing for second.
But like not even second. Like who cares? You're going to be 25 games out of first.
They stink. All of them. They stink.
I looked at the Rockies lineup today, and frankly, they should just call up all their minor leaguers and just give them some reps.
Is that yoked up dude playing? Is he in the big leagues?
Condon?
They got Brendan Donovan though, right?
Condon's in AAA.
Not Condon. The dude that gained like 35 pounds over one offseason. Rockies outfielder that bulked up. He was a college baseball guy.
I mean, frankly, they
Zach
might as
Veen.
well. Was Zach Veen? Yeah. I think he's in AAA as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Zach Veen, 24 years of age, bulked up by over 40 pounds during the 2025-2026 offseason, transforming from roughly 200 pounds to 245 pounds.
What?
Yeah. Crazy.
Good weight or bad weight?
After battling substance abuse issues, Veen's focused on his health and strength, resulting in increased power during the 2026.
Well, now I feel bad. Now I feel bad about making fun of somebody who had a.
I mean, people are going to make
problems.
assumptions whenever you gain 40+ pounds in an offseason.
Honestly, they're so bad they might as well just throw Ethan Holiday into the fire and let him figure it out.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of pro scouts that think he's bad. Like they think he'll never live up to the hype.
I didn't think that was a great pick personally, but I understood why they did it because Matt Holliday is kind of a franchise legend.
Yeah, sure. And
so you understand why they did that with the first overall pick?
No, I don't think they should have. I understand the rationale behind it because he was a touted prospect and his dad is a franchise guy, but he was not the best player. College players should be getting drafted with the top 10 picks from now on.
I remember Matt Holliday as a Can't talk today.
A Cardinal?
Cardinal.
Cardinal, not a Rocky.
Because he won the World Series with them.
Yes, he went to a World Series.
I'm
with
looking at
Colorado.
the Rockies roster right now. It's light. There's some SEC names on here.
They're not good, but
It's
nobody
pretty
in that
tragic.
Chase
division's
Dolander,
good. Yeah, Tennessee,
Edouard Julien,
Kentucky.
Auburn, Jordan Beck,
Edward Julien.
second baseman from Quebec. He's a Auburn Tiger.
The pitching staff will just never be good.
Jordan Beck, Tennessee.
It will never be good. Hunter Goodman can swing it though, and Tovar is pretty solid. And
Lorenzen had a great World Baseball Classic.
He did.
yeah,
I'm an
Kyle
idiot. I'm wrong.
Freeland is he's pretty hit or miss.
He's very hit or miss.
I thought didn't Kentucky have a Frenchie, a Quebecois, on their team?
I think that's true, but it was Edouard Julien definitely played it all.
Yeah, you're right. I looked it up. I'm wrong. Hand up. Hand up. Edouard
showing
Julien in August of 2018 was arrested in Auburn, Alabama for public intoxication and criminal littering.
Criminal littering.
Criminal littering.
What do you
That's
have to
not
be
very-
littering for it to be
Not
criminal?
very Canadian of you.
No.
Last night, Texas A&M destroyed Sam Houston State at Bluebell Park 16-2. These Tuesday night games have been fun.
Yeah. Well, they've been over early, which has been really fun.
Last week against Houston Christian was the exception, but they've put up some pretty monster numbers last night against Sam, against Lamar, against Incarnate Word. Who am I missing? They scored 8 against Corpus Christi, I believe.
Dalton said Duclair was the Quebecois kid from Kentucky.
You sure Dalton's not trying to get you
No.
with something like
This
a weird
could
name?
this could be a Gabe Owners thing.
Oh yeah, that's what I was asking. I was hitting that. Make sure they didn't catch you out. But it was another fun night, man, and took the offense a little bit to get up and going. But it's another double-digit run, double-digit hit evening for the Aggie offense. Who again, the schedule. We said it yesterday. The schedule's about to really ramp up. It starts this weekend. But through the first half of the schedule, this is an elite offense.
No doubt.
This is an elite offense.
They are top 5 in runs per game at over 10. They're top 5 in slugging.
Yeah, I think they've scored 281 runs in 28 games. So you're right.
Yes.
And the home runs are starting to happen more often. And as the weather gets warm and the ball's going to keep flying out of Bluebell Park. Now the issue is that it's going to fly out the other way too.
Sure.
But you'd have to say that this offense and the defense are elite. And last night we saw it again. There was a misplay by Jorian Wilson, who had it's such an interesting night. And I'm not trying to call out directly the people on the game thread, but he had that pop-up where he called it late, and he also looked down at Chris Akopian in front of him, and that's usually a cardinal sin if you're chasing a ball in no man's land, is if you stop and look down at the guy next to you, you're not going to catch it. Like, you've got to keep your eyes up and call for ball. And he called late. He looked down, and he got his eyes back up late. Ball goes over his head. He also stranded 8 men on base. Is that right? Bases loaded twice, then 2 on.
Yes.
And people weren't dogging him. They're like, man, Jorian's had a bad night. And I'm going, okay, like,
There
to
were
me,
some
2
people
out hits.
There were some people in there that were dogging him. There were some people that were calling for him to be pulled after the second at bat.
Yeah,
That was before the dropped pop up.
After the drop pop-up, there were several people that were like, get him out of the game. Like, no, you don't do that. But here's my thing. His first at bat with the bases loaded comes with 2 outs. He gets fisted on a 2-strike pitch, and it lands. It's on the warning track.
Yeah.
It's caught on the warning track.
Hit it a long way.
His next at bat, again, 2 strikes. He does a good job. He hits a ground ball into the 6 hole. I thought the same Houston shortstop made a great play.
Yep.
Fielded it on the run and threw it to third.
Yep.
If there is 1 out in both of those scenarios, he drives in a run each time.
Yep.
So what are you saying that he had bad at bats? Like, to me, 2 out hits, there's like, I don't think you can ever bank on them. They're a luxury when you get them. But if you get bases loaded in 2 outs, it's like, man, like it's really hard on the hitter to say he's going to have you got to get a hit.
It's tough.
It's a lot easier for me to be critical of hitters when you get a runner at third in less than 2 outs and you don't come through.
Yes.
But 2 outs, you got to get a hit or you got to get a walk or get to first base. And Jorian just didn't do that. But he got to deep in counts, hit a ball pretty well to the left center field warning track, and then Sam Houston made a pretty nice play on him in the hole to get on a short way to get the lead runner in a bases loaded scenario. So I was really excited that He had the home run late in the game because
He absolutely killed that ball,
well,
too.
yeah, I mean, that's what he does. Like, he doesn't hit very, he ain't gonna hit many
110
cheap
miles an hour off the bat.
110 miles an hour off the bat, and like no doubt cleared Section 12.
On the train tracks.
But that is, you have to ride the highs and the lows with this kid. Like, he is going to have another day where he is going to be 0 for 4, 3 punch outs, and he may do something careless in right field. But that doesn't mean that you got to yank him out and rip him a new one. Like, you, as a coach, as a manager, you understand this is part of his learning curve. It's no different to me. Hunter Vincent's the same way. Hunter Vincent is the same way. If Hunter Vincent is right, he helps this team and this pitching staff. And you saw one inning last night. I think he hit the first guy and then struck out 2, got a 0.
You need guys that can help your pitching staff right now.
Yes.
You got to find them.
And so you got to be a little bit patient. And on Tuesday nights, right now, it's inexpensive experience.
And for a guy like Jorian, you hear Coach Early talk about it a lot. Doesn't say that he's raw. Says he's very inexperienced. And the only way to learn, the only way to gain experience is to do it.
There's a lot of national media. I say national media. There's people that are figuring out what Jorian is. And Joe Doyle, MLB draft analyst, had tweeted a video of his home run last night and was talking about a lot of people are starting to get excited about this kid's upside. And I quote tweeted and said, he's unique. It's just he needs time in the box. He's catching up. His tools are allowing him to catch up faster than most people. And last night you saw they went change up 0-0 in the first at bat, and then they kept going. They went back to it to get him down 0-2, I believe. His second at bat, he swung through an 0-0 change up. They went back to it, and he didn't even budge at it. And Cliff Pennington, I was standing next to the third base suite down there. I could see Coach Pennington and I could see Jorian. Cliff Pennington turned around, smiled, and started shaking his head yes. Because he can see he's learning. And what was the pitch that he hit over Section 12?
Changeup.
It was a changeup. So this kid he doesn't really get pitch patterns and how they want to get him out all the time. But he is so gifted that these learning curves can happen quick for him, even though he's probably 500 at bats in his life behind Nico Partita, who's the same age.
He also started the year, I think, in his first couple games, maybe after like 5 or 6 games, he was hitting somewhere in the 200s, and now he's at 16. He's hitting 333, and his OPS is above 1,000.
Yeah, and he is going to be an OPS. Like, I don't know that he's going to be an on-base guy in his career, but he is going to be a slug guy. So he could end up where he slugs a whole season at 725 and gets on base at 300. And he's 1,000 OPS guy.
That'd be a little wild.
It's like the inverse of Bear Harrison, right? Like, it's like Bear's on base is carrying his OPS over 1,000. Got a first start ever for Blake Labuda. Coach Early comes on these programs, and when he meets with the media, he talks about the importance of their Wednesday workouts. Well, here's a guy who's been killing it in the Wednesday workouts, and Bear needed a night off, and you can't go publicly saying and privately amongst your team, you can't go around saying how much they put value on these Wednesday night scrimmages, inter-squad scrimmages, and then not reward the guys who are playing well in them. Yep. You got to give them a shot. And so he did last night with Labuda. I think he got on twice.
He started that 7-run rally.
And then, you got to show there was 7 doubles hit.
7 doubles and 2 home runs. 9 of the 17 hits went for extra bases. And
they're starting on tomorrow night with Connor Fennell from Vanderbilt. It's going to be a tough challenge. Vanderbilt hasn't pitched it like they normally do, but they've got plenty of talent between Fennell and Wyatt Nadeau, who is their freshman right-hander. I believe their game 2 starter. Has had some ups and downs, but the stuff is plenty good to be a frontline SEC starter in his career. But if A&M goes out and bullies Vanderbilt staff again, I still think people will have question marks about the long-term viability because Vandy's pitching staff, especially on the road, has gotten beat up a little bit. So it's funny that we're halfway through the season, and I think there's a lot of people still withholding judgment for this A&M team, and I'm fine with that. But part of that is the pitching is a major question mark, and I think people are hesitant to jump on board fully with this team because they get beat up on the mound. But there's also still a hangover from last year, I'm convinced of, that people are they just don't want to buy in yet because last year was so hard for them to come off of. It was such a high going into the season, such a low at the end of the season that I guess they're scared to get their hopes up.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with that. It's hard to watch a team that was talented last year, but also I think a lot of people don't think enough about how much the injuries truly affected that team last year.
Well, with Grahovic all year,
Grahovic
and
all year, Sorrell for 2/3 of the season. That's two of your best bats on the shelf for most of the year. You don't have Sadeo at all last year. He would have been a valuable piece out of the bullpen.
Didn't have Josh Stewart.
You didn't have Josh Stewart last year, exactly. It's just and the team showed a lot of signs of life in the middle of the year, and then the Missouri series happened, and it was just it just kind of fell off after that.
It took the air out, and
it did. It took the air out, and then everybody disregarded all of everything positive that they saw, and they only remembered the negative. I think that was the real issue.
And there are people that deeply care about Texas A&M baseball. It's the second most popular sport on campus, I think, by a good bit. Now, Bucky is doing all he can to close that gap. But I firmly believe that there were people that were convinced that this coaching staff isn't good enough, and so they are holding them to the highest of high standards this year before they jump back in. But I wrote in my article this week, the optimists have reason to be optimistic. The pessimists have reasons to still tap the brakes. So you have to look at the season, again, like we said a year ago, look at it in its totality, judge it at the end of the season. So there are massive games and massive opportunities for this team upcoming, and they start tomorrow night against Vanderbilt. But what you have seen with your eyes through 28 games is an elite offense, almost as good as the best that the school has ever seen, and an elite defense. You have seen both of those unequivocally. Will that maintain throughout the duration of the schedule? We'll see. But at this point, at the halfway juncture, you'd say those are undeniable truths.
Yep. Undeniable truths.
I'd like to see more Cooper Powell.
I'd like to see more of anybody that's not the usual suspects who have been good, right? Not going to take anything away from them, but I do know that a lot is being asked of them. And at some point, that's going to catch up with you.
It would just be nice to have another legit option, right?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say is you need more guys. You got to have more guys. And it's not like you can go get a free agent or make a deal at the deadline to improve your pitching staff. What you have is what you have. So you need guys to start performing. Guys got to step up on Wednesdays, earn their opportunities on Tuesdays, and then start impacting games on the weekend. Like Grant Cunningham.
Yeah, for sure. And if you told me this team, if you're like, hey, they're about to go 4-2 over their next 6, I'd be like, I believe it. If you say they're going to go 2-4 over their next 6, I'd go, I believe it. There's still, that's the margins of the league, and that's how this team plays. It's a volatile way of playing. It's similar to 2022. And really, 2024, what's the difference between this team and 2024? It's obviously going to be on the pitching side, but let's talk about what it is.
You're getting more swing and miss on the mound is basically the difference.
Out of 2024, the starters generated more swing and miss.
And they went deeper into the games.
But they didn't have a Sunday guy like Aiden Sims.
They did not.
You had Evan Aschenbeck.
You had a fluctuating Saturday.
You did have Evan Aschenbeck, and that was...
Right, but that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
You had Evan Aschenbeck, and you had Chris Cortez. Now,
Josh Stewart came on late.
Yeah, and Josh Stewart came on late. So you had a real bullpen.
Yep.
And you had other pieces that would throw the ball over the plate. Brad Rudis was on that team, obviously. But that's what you just haven't gotten up to this point in the year. outside of Clayton Freshcorn, it's been too inconsistent out of the bullpen. And obviously when the starters have been inconsistent, you don't have an Oshionbeck.
Gavin Lyons has been consistent.
He's been okay.
Just been in he's been in different roles.
That's fair.
Much lower leverage spots than Freshcorn.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have a flamethrower type guy like Cortez. Just somebody with like an elite level, like elite juice on the mound.
Yeah, they don't have much
there's
of
not,
that.
There's not a guy who has that
Hunter
kind
Vincent
of
was up to
crazy
90,
juice.
was it 96,
Cade,
97?
what if we had a guy that had elite juice on the mound and then also elite juice at the plate? What if we had a guy like Shohei Ohtani?
Well,
that'd be nice.
You're going to fire up
I've-
the Nico Partita for pitcher conversation is what you're trying to fire
I have heard
up.
that, yeah.
Nico Partita for unicorn.
That's an interesting discussion. But again, we talked a little bit about it yesterday. What are you sacrificing there? This guy's perfect game midseason freshman of the year on his way to freshman All-American status.
You let him rock. You let him do what he's doing right now. You don't mess with it. Because what is one of the key pieces of information Crash Davis taught Ebby Calvin?
Never mess with a winning streak.
Yes.
Beyond that, though, it's just too risky. Like, if he gets on the mound and it has something happen where now he can't play third and hit, what have you done to your team? What was the gain? Yeah. High leverage outs have been gotten by one guy. There's no guarantee that Nico as a pitcher is going to be able to go get you more high leverage outs. I'd honestly rather Luke Billings coming off of an injury, see what he can do.
Heard Luke Billings is the messiest guy in the clubhouse for what it's worth, which is nothing.
I like that guy on the back end of games. A little grimy, a little dirty.
Gavin told me today he has like 30 towels in his locker. Makes no sense why.
But again, you don't have a lot of like insert new guy. Here's an option to get you weekend outs. The staff is pretty fired up about Billings. They think he could be a rotation guy throughout at some point in his career. Not ready for that yet, and he's obviously coming off of an upper body injury that kept him out for a little while. But
my whole thing is
him and Cooper Powell are like the only two names where you're going, all right, like the raw stuff, the talent is there for them to impact on weekends, but you haven't seen it yet. That doesn't mean they're going to be ready. And here's another interesting discussion. What will Coach Early do? And we may have more information about this tomorrow as we will be leaving B team to go to the game. But what's Coach Early going to do with that third outfield spot? Because Jorian
Wilson has earned more playing time.
Correct. And Jorian clearly raises the ceiling of this team. But going up there to Missouri and having a good weekend is a lot different than doing it against Vanderbilt.
Yes.
Do you worry about the lights being too bright? And where you've got TK, who's been there, seen it, done it, is not going to raise the ceiling of your offense like Jorian does, but is a good piece. I think that's an interesting discussion that they're going to have. And maybe it comes down to what hand does the pitcher throw with?
Yeah. Do you continue to platoon it depending on who the starting pitcher is?
Yeah. And
now?
I think so. And with Bendy kind of settling in as a DH.
Oh, Blake Benderup's been amazing. Do you know he is a hit in every single start this year? He's only got 9 starts. He's played in, I think, 16 of the 28 games. He is a hit in all 9 of his starts.
Well, Nadeau
his OPS is insane.
Cooper Fennell and Wyatt Nadeau are right-handed. So Jake Dewar is not coming out of the order.
No.
But
you can't take Jake Dewar out of the order.
No, of course not. I mean, he's
having
a Jackson Appel type of year.
It's
really good
Jackson
and nobody
Appel
talks about it.
Or like it's kind of similar to Jack Moss, yeah.
Well, his spray charts are like Jack Moss, but I'm telling you, like his production, Jackson Appel was
he's got more juice than Jack Moss for sure.
Yeah, but it's in terms of impact, it's like Jackson Appel, where you have 3 first-rounders in front of you, potential 3 first-rounders when Grahovic, Sorrell, and Hakopian, just like you had with Grahovic, Lavalette, Montgomery. And then here's this guy, left-handed hitter. I know Jackson was a switch hitter, but bat to ball, can run it out of the ballpark, gives you good at bats, doesn't strike out too often. Jake Dewar is that. That's why it's easy to draw parallels from 2024 to this offense right now. And I hope it continues.
I know we got to move on because the show's wrapping up, but we didn't we didn't touch on it yesterday, and the question's being asked in the group chat again, or at least the group chat, in the YouTube chat again. One of the posters wants to know, quote, what the hell is going on with Brauninger?
He's no longer on the team.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Coach Early confirmed that today. No longer with the club.
Mutual parting of ways. And he never pitched here, so it doesn't affect outcomes at all. Wish him the best. I think he'll probably land at a mid-major.
I think the question was popping up because we were talking about other options in the bullpen.
Well, there's a reason why his name wasn't brought up.
Yeah, I don't think the news had he had heard the news yet.
This is a We Learned Wednesday, something that I have learned recently as we do wrap up the show. Dots, who makes the best pretzel in the world and the best snack in the world, I didn't know that they may have been producing these snacks for a long time, and I have recently discovered them. But I have learned that they make kind of not a trail mix. What do you call Gardettos?
Just like a snack mix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Dots does a bold, like the red bag, which is the best flavor, like their original, bold and zesty. I think they do a snack mix of that. It's incredible. That
sounds
so good.
Amazing.
They also, and I didn't know this until my wife brought some home, they do a cinnamon sugar pretzel. It's a cross between Cinnamon Toast Crunch and churros. They're hard to put down.
Is that a game changer, Brauny?
It's hard to put them down. And I didn't think that I would like them because, like, you think pretzel, you think salty,
Savory
and I'm like,
salty
with cinnamon, I didn't know if I would like it, but they're not sweet at all. They're like a little toasty, and they got the cinnamon sugar on it, so it's a perfect blend of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and churro. They're delicious. They are delicious.
I'll defer all of my snack news and insight to you.
I'm sorry.
Every single time you have a snack opinion, it ends up being pretty good.
Look at me. Who was in here yesterday? Oh, it was David Alano was in here, and I was interviewing him for an NIL interview, and we were talking about just local establishments.
You gave him the top of the hill
and
burger.
Yeah, we were talking about. I was like, look, man, I've been all over the country. I go all over the state covering recruiting, and everywhere I go, I ask people for recommendations for their best cheeseburger or their best restaurant in the area. The best cheeseburger I've had in my life, and again, I do look at me. I'm qualified to make. I feel like I look like I'm qualified at least to having a strong opinion on this. The best cheeseburger I have ever eaten in the United States of America and beyond is right up there by Lake Bryan at top of the hill.
So good.
So good.
It's crazy good.
It's unbelievable.
Okay, didn't we introduce you to that place?
You did. I did go with y'all. I've been one time since then, and it was just as good again. It was fantastic. 10 out of 10. No notes.
Need to make another office run out there, Brauny.
That should be a Thunderdome Thursday. We just eat a burger.
Yeah, I mean you're gonna have to put some discretionary warnings on this, but
we're gonna start making. I'm
gonna make animal noises.
Look away. Name that movie, Cade.
Oh.
He doesn't know.
It's a Will Ferrell movie.
It is.
Oh, okay. He might know.
Is it?
Come on, Cade.
God.
You got it.
If you ain't first, you're last.
Oh, it's Talladega Nights.
Yep.
Yeah. Dang it. I've watched that kind of recently too.
Amy Adams, they're at the
that's right.
It's not the Applebee's bars. It's just the hole in the wall.
Yeah.
They get thrown out of the Applebee's.
I have a couple of facts to close us out today on this day in history, April 1st. In 1972, the first collective players' strike in Major League Baseball history begins at midnight. The strike lasts 12 days, ending on April 13th. 86 games, total games across the league are missed. Also, in 1984, on April 1st, Marvin Gaye, when I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Marvin Gaye, shot by his own father on his 45th one day short of his 45th birthday in 1984. The History Channel has some really cool facts for every day of the year, and I have started to read these.
Can I give you my favorite on this day? It also serves as an April Fool's Day prank.
Go ahead.
On this day, in 2025, Buzz Williams announced that he was taking the job at Maryland.
And we will see you tomorrow.
Pranked you, Buzz. We didn't want you
Thunderdome
anyways.
Thursday. We don't have a bit yet. I am going to probably do trivia. People like that. I think that's going to stick. We're going to do some trivia, and then if Cade Bickham, the producer of this show, can figure out how to share his screen,
Look at
we
what
might
Cade-
do a GeoGuessr.
Look at what Cade did to this mic.
And if you've got a recommendation on how to cure a flaccid mic, please email Richard Zane. We'll see y'all tomorrow on the
Can't
B
keep it
Team.
up.